right.
Clemens. Okay, well, welcome, Mr. Clemens. Glad to have you and everyone else. So tonight we're going to go ahead and get started because it is 7:01. I am Laura Morgan, and I teach for Greenville Academy, and I teach American History 1 and American History 2 for them right now, and we love it. And so we're glad to have you here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what Canvas looks like specifically for parents and students, because I know it's a little newer and maybe not as frequently used. We do have students, Leo was telling me, K through 5 students use Canvas. We also have, I know that I use it, and another teacher for Greenville Academy uses it, Mr. Henley, for science. And also our students that are taking NCVPS classes use Canvas. So it is, I mean, it's pretty common, but I think it's one of the newer platforms. So we wanted to give you a little tour of what it looks like. Let's see, whoops. Miss Leah Powell is on the call tonight, and she's gonna be my co-host, and she is gonna talk specifically at the end about how parents can have access to Canvas, whether that be for North Carolina Virtual Public School or for any other Greenville teachers specifically. If you will, keep your mic muted. If you have questions, you can chime in, just unmute yourself at the end when we ask for questions, or just throw them up in the chat box. We're pretty low key, and we're here to serve, so interrupt if needed. Okay, so first things first, we have students who are taking classes through NCVPS. And while I do not teach for NCVPS currently, I have taught for them in the past. So I am a little familiar with how to navigate that. But what students will do is first they'll go to ncvps.instructure.com. They have their own instance of Canvas through the North Carolina Virtual Public School. Basically, they're like dual enrolled. They're enrolled in Granville County and also NCVPS in order to take this class. And so students from all over the state are doing this, and that's why they have their own instance. I know it's a little annoying for students to have to go to 2 different places to get on Canvas. It just depends on who their host teacher is. So for students who have to log in for North Carolina Virtual Public Schools, they will log in at ncvps right here, .instructure.com. And then they will use their student ID number to log in, and the password that is generally provided by the NCVPS teacher. And they're very responsive, so you should be able to email and ask if the student doesn't already know. Now, for our Greenville County students, they will use Clever to log in to Canvas. If they are not on their school issued computer and they don't have Clever right at their fingertips, then they would go
Morgan,
to.
can I interrupt?
Yes, please do.
They will use the my.nc EdCloud, not Clever.
Is it not on Clever now? It was at one point.
No, just through the NC EdCloud here.
Okay, well, good to know. Thanks for interrupting as
Sorry.
I misinform our audience here. Okay, so they'll go to My NC EdCloud, which is, I said they would do that even if they were not on their school issued computer, but it's my.ncedcloud.org, and they'll log in with their student ID, their UID number, and their password, and any of their face-to-face teachers or the Greenville Academy teachers should be able to provide this information to them if they need it. Once they get there, they will find the Canvas icon, and they'll be able to click on it. And it will take them to something that looks like this. Now, this is the teacher view, so I'm going to switch over to the student view so that you can see what your student would see. Now, each teacher might have it set up slightly different. For example, I have my most recent announcements listed at the top. Some teachers may not have them listed here. They might just house all the announcements under the Announcements tab to the left. They should have their contact information on the home page of the course. Also, they should have access to their teacher's email, because hopefully their teachers are emailing them like a welcome on how to get logged in. And also, their teachers will be posting announcements. So if they don't have them posted on the home page, students should be able to go to the left and click on announcements. Each day, the teacher, or each week, depending on who the teacher is, will post an announcement for students to view. So, for example, here's the announcement that my students saw this morning. And it just tells them what to do, what we're going to be learning, and maybe like what assignments are coming up. Then modules. Now, I don't particularly love that we call this modules, but this is where students will go. This could be called lessons, I think would be a more accessible term for everyone. But under modules is where students would have their lessons and their assignments. Canvas has it broken down so that each unit or module, some teachers might have each week as a module. For my class, you can see that I have modules set up as units. So they have an orientation module that basically explains how to use Canvas and then goes over my syllabus and students introduce themselves. And then we get to the material that they would learn. So we'd start with unit 1, lesson 1, and then their assignment. Now, the beautiful thing about Canvas and why so many teachers that use it love it so much, and why most of my students love it, is that because we can set it up so that they cannot skip around. So as you can see here, it is grayed out. They cannot click on these assignments or these lessons. And that is because when they come in to the very first page, it is required that they mark it as done. The teacher has set it up so that they have to click mark as done. Now, what does that even mean? So this is how to use Canvas. The very first thing, I figured that's pretty important if they are not familiar with how to use Canvas. They have a quick video to watch. And at the top, there's this little button that says mark as done. When they click on that, they are allowed to move to the next page. So previously under modules, that next page was grayed out, and now it's allowing us to move forward, and we would just click next as we view the information and move on. Obviously, hopefully they don't skip all the way through that like I just did, but you can go to the next page. So now when I go back to my modules, you can see that all of these are available to me now. I've just gone through all of them. And if I continue, I would be able to go to the next page, next page. Now I have it set so that my students cannot start unit 1 until they finish the orientation module. This ensures that they know how to properly use Canvas before they start the material. I do the orientation module for day 1 and day 2 of the course, and then they begin on the lessons. I also have it set up so that they can't start unit 2 until they finish unit 1. And also, so they have their unit 1 notes, their lesson 1 notes, I mean. They have a quiz halfway through the unit, and then at the end, they have a review and a test. Now, they can't open up this test until they have done the notes, which I personally love and generally have found that parents really like, because oftentimes we have students come in, they haven't logged in all week, and they just jump to lesson 4 and they try to do the lesson, specifically like in a math class when we know that everything builds off of itself. And that gets a little confusing when they're trying to do lesson 4, but they haven't learned the material from lesson 1 and 2 and 3. So that is where students would go. They would check their announcements and their modules. Their modules is where their work and their assignments and notes are listed. And then finally, we have grades. Now, Canvas does talk to PowerSchool, so I guess that works for the elementary school too. Leah, is that true? You can chime in if you know that answer.
Sorry, say that one more time. I want to make sure that I got that.
Elementary school Canvas user, the teachers, are they syncing with PowerSchool?
Yes, they are.
Okay, great. So whatever grades are listed in Canvas should also be listed on PowerSchool, where all the other classes are housed as well. So you can see this is just a sample view. So this sample student is missing a whole lot of assignments so far and has not submitted anything. But if this were your student, you would be able to click on grades and they would be able to see all their assignments, the due dates, whether they were missing or late, it would be marked. Or if they've been submitted but not yet graded, that would also be marked. And then if they have been graded, it would have a score. There will also be a little drop-down box where you can click on the comment, which there is no comment because this has not yet been graded. But you would be able to click on this and see a comment for feedback on that grade, should the teacher leave any. You can also open up the submission, and over here, you would be able to see the teacher's comment and also respond back to the teacher if there were follow-up questions or things you needed to add, and the teacher could comment back. It should be set so that the student would get a notification anytime there's comments on their grades, and also would be able to respond straight from their email to the comment, which is really handy, I think. Should the student need to contact the teacher in another manner, there's an inbox over here in Canvas that they can message, just like they do in Haiku, if you're familiar with that. And it basically goes straight to the teacher's email, and the teacher can respond, and it would go straight to the student's email. So that's a handy little aspect of Canvas as well. There's a calendar, and that basically just shows when things are due. But because of the prerequisites, the fact that we can't skip ahead, students cannot open up the calendar and just click on something that's due in the future, because it would say, I'll show you, this assignment has not been unlocked yet because the student has not done all these things that are required before opening it. So occasionally I'll have students say, Miss Morgan, I tried to open up the assignment for lesson 2 and it won't let me. And I'll say, well, have you done the lesson 2 note yet? And they're like, oh, not yet. And they go back and they complete them, and then they're able to complete the assignment with no issues. Okay, let's see. Make sure I touch base on all the things that we said we were going to touch base on. Are there questions about this before we get Leah to talk about how parents can access Canvas through the app or the website?
It doesn't seem like there are any questions in the chat, but please feel free to enter anything you have as a parent, as a student, as an administrator. We have Mr. Graham here joining us too, and Mrs. Marlin.
Okay, well, I don't see any questions. If they come to you, feel free to throw them up in the chat. And Leah, do you want to show how to get the parents hooked up so that they can connect with their student and monitor their progress?
I sure do. So I'm just going to get ready here to share my screen, and what's going to pop up is the presentation that we've been looking at. And this presentation has a lot of the talking points in it that Miss Morgan had referred to with our agenda here, but it's so much better to kind of go through and see it live the way that she did as a student. Unfortunately, it's not going to look like that for the parent view, but I do want to talk a little bit about the access as a parent or a guardian. So first and foremost, there is a way that you can, as a parent, download the Canvas app on either, an iPad, an iPhone, anything like that. You can download the Canvas app and access it in a similar way. But the way that I'm going to highlight it today is actually through using our website or our Granville County instance. So I will show that in order to access Canvas as a parent, the first step that comes is that you'll receive what we call a pairing code from the classroom teacher. And this classroom teacher can be an NCVPS teacher that's in North Carolina virtual public schools, or it can come from Miss Morgan or Mr. Henley. And what that pairing code does is it pairs you with your student, and it makes you an observer of that student and of that class. So in order to first access this information, you'll first receive that pairing code from the student or teacher, and we're going to kind of give the chance to request that information if wanted and needed. And then you'll access this link here, and the link is kind of it's oriented towards Granville County. So similar to, NCVPS has its Canvas link. Granville County, we access it through the NCED Cloud. However, parents don't have the NCED Cloud, staff UID. So this link with Granville County and instructor.com/login/Canvas, this is where you'll go as a parent to log in. So once we access this, if you, and it saved my information here, if you are a parent and you have already signed up and paired yourself with your student, this is where you'll enter your email address that you had chosen to use and the password that you had created. If you are going to be a first-time user just receiving the pairing code from your child's instructor, there's this teeny tiny little piece up here that says parent of a Canvas user. So I'm going to jump back here, and it's circled here in this image also, that if after this session you request a pairing code and it's like, next Monday, next Tuesday, please, this will be shared and we will share all of this information that you can access this little icon here or this slide to know that you'll click on parent or guardian of a parent user. And it saved some of my info here just from being a user already. But this is where you'll use your parent sign up. You'll use your name, an email of your choice, a password of your choice that you'll create to use just with this Granville County Instructor.com for Canvas. And then you'll enter your students' pairing codes. Afterwards, you'll agree to the terms of use, and then you'll start participating. And once you start participating, the really cool thing is, and Laura, I don't know if you have anything to share about this, but I know that Mr. Henley shared that as a teacher, you'll see that the student has an observer attached to them. So you'll be able to see, and I'm just giving some examples here. If Mr. Clemens wants to, observe Disney, if Disney's using Canvas at this point, he can sign up for this. And then Miss Morgan would see that he is observing Disney's progress throughout this. So you'll start participating, and then each time you want to log in, you'll log in using this info, and your view will look very, very similar to that of the student view and to that in which Miss Morgan had shown. The only difference is that you won't be able to submit assignments and things like that. So this is a really cool thing to use as a parent if, I know with high school, it's a little bit different from the K through 5. I feel like K through 5, you and your child are doing a lot of the, a learning coach are doing a lot of the work together, and you may not need the observer role just because, you're viewing items as your actual child is viewing them. As a high school student, this is very useful with our students who might be participating in athletics or have jobs. And as a parent, if the child's at work and you're wondering how they're doing in their science class, you can use this information to kind of log in and view progress. So this is, and I'm going to jump back here to our slide. This is kind of how you would log in as a parent. So I want to say, I'm going to piggyback on this, that parents not only can access Canvas, Granville County also has our parent portal. And our parent portal is designed for parents to log into the parent portal to view all students' grades in all classes. When you log in, you have the option to set up notifications, to receive a weekly email about your child's grades. You can, and I want to say this was kind of offered to Granville Online students too, that if there's pieces around attendance, you can sign up to have attendance notifications and view students' transcripts and things like that. So what we wanted to do to kind of piggyback on the access to Canvas as a parent, as well as our accesses as a student, is to provide this chance, and I'm going to put this link in the chat. I think I'm going to see if I can find it too.
I got it. I'll do it.
Okay, awesome. It is really funny how it's hard to find the chat while you're kind of presenting or sharing your screen. But this link is what we're actually going to use for tonight for our haiku or Power School Learning session tomorrow, as well as on Thursday, our Google Classroom session, which will have very similar agendas as tonight. But this form allows for you as either a guardian or a parent or a student to find support on access to either Canvas for this evening or the parent portal. And what if you fill out this form, you can say, nope, I don't need any assistance. I don't need any access points. There is a question at the bottom just for any comments or any feedback you want to leave, but we'll follow up with you about the entry. And, if let's say your student is new to Miss Morgan's class and you want access to Canvas. We'll kind of help and pair the student, or we'll help and pair the parent in that aspect. So I am going to jump back quickly to the student access to NCVPS and just highlight that NCVPS courses are on a little bit of a different calendar than our Granville County students. So our NCVPS students, their semester begins on the 18th. Miss Marling, can you give me a thumbs up? I think it's the 18th or the 19th.
It's the 19th.
Thank you so much. So our NCVPS kids, they start on the 19th, and they may not have access to log into NCVPS until Thursday, which is 5 days before the semester begins. And then they will have access to their course starting on the 19th. So if you have a student, which our students, I feel like they're pretty good at reaching out if needing assistance around these things. But if you're a student who's taking an NCVPS course, or you have a student that's getting ready to, and you're wondering about their access points, please feel free to complete this and request that information as well. So I feel like that is my little spiel around our parent access to Canvas, as well as access to our parent portal. Were there any questions that came up? Okay, it doesn't look like there's very many questions. I will take the time to thank Miss Morgan for doing this for us tonight. She is the queen of Canvas for real. She has been teaching me about it ever since the district has received Canvas. And I just want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us tonight and to show your amazing tour. And everything that she showed, each Canvas course for Granville Online should have, as well as NCVPS courses may look a little bit different, but hopefully much of that information as far as teacher contact and everything is there also. I want to say thank you to Mrs. Marlin for joining us, our lab facilitator, and all other things, for joining us tonight. She is someone that will assist our students with logging in also. And of course, we don't want to forget Mr. Graham. Principal Graham is here with us tonight too. So thank you to our team, and then thank you to all of you who came, and know that we are here to help you through the use of Canvas, the use of whatever tool the county is offering. And if you are taking a course in Canvas with Miss Morgan, who's over here on my screen, but then you're also taking Miss Marlin's CTE course in haiku, and you want to join tomorrow evening to learn about that, please do so. So I'm going to mute myself. If anybody else wants to say anything, go for it.
I think we would be remiss not to thank Miss Powell as well, because she handles all the things too. Her and Maisie both, my goodness, not enough money in the world to pay them for what they do. So thank you. And thank you for always being a big cheerleader for everyone else.
Thank you all. Appreciate it very much.
Okay, so thank you. And again, if you need any support around Canvas or accessing the parent portal, please don't hesitate to complete that link again in the chat. If you have friends that you talk to, students that may need some help getting into Canvas or getting into NCVPS, let them know. They can complete that, or they can reach out to any of us.